We're going to go live. Okay. Now you've got the dialect voice again, Andy. So do what you did last week. Whatever you did last week to fix that. It may just be restart your browser. I'm not sure. Okay, hello everyone. Sorry, we're just getting set up. This is the pre-show. Welcome who's joined us. There's a few people in chat already. So big hello to everyone. There's a few people that I haven't seen in chat there before, which is always good. We'll definitely give those people a warm welcome. Darren's just joined us. We're streaming, Darren, just before you decide to swear. Darren actually never swears. I just say that just to make him look bad, and then later on he gives me an earful. Now, let's get the audio levels right, because I listened back to the show just briefly last week, and I thought we were a little quiet on the audio. So guys in the chat, and girls, and ladies, and men, audio levels. We'll start with Darren's.
1, 2, 1, 2, check, check.
I think yours was pretty good last week as well, so you don't usually touch that stuff. All right, now I think Andy's coming back. Dean, will do yours next.
Hello, 1, 2, 1, 2. Hope everybody's doing okay. Hello, everybody in the chat. Everybody's on the camera.
So Dean's is going to sound a little muffled because he's coming through a webcam mic, which is always never the best sound, but we'll have to persevere with that. But I think your level is okay. Just in the chat, if you let us know if you're happy with Dean's level. And we're just waiting on Andy to come back as he's currently frozen. I'm not sure.
1, 2, 1, 2.
Now you'll need to tap it if you want to connect that, because then I'll know if it's connected or not, mate.
All right, yeah. I'm just going to go on the audio settings here and see if I can
just whilst everyone's getting their audio settings right, I thought I'd introduce you to what I'm drinking tonight. Focus camera. So this is called Perth Local. I've never ever tried this before. It's a lager, and I think it's Feral Brewing Company. Yeah, nothing like a bit of a Feral Brewing Company. So yeah, it's not bad. I'd say it's got a bit of salt, a bit of a salt taste to it. I'm not sure if I've had a salty beer before. Cheers everyone for a Saturday. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your weather there, wherever you are. We're having rain here, so if the stream misbehaves like it did last week, blame the rain. Blame the rain. Andy, tap it. No. Nope. Bzzzt. We can barely hear you, and it's very dialect-y, bit crushy. What has he done? Not sure. Anyway, while Andy's setting up his stuff, do a restart, buddy. Do a restart. Whilst Andy's setting up, what was I going to show you? This. So I've taken out all my MPC and my Akai force and the peak and everything that's usually sitting here, and I've cleared this desk just for you guys. Eurorack's all sitting at the back. So we've got RD8 here, TR8 there, TD3 there, TB3 there, and we've got an SH01A there, and then later on I'll move the camera across to the right and you'll see the MS101 over there. Don't know if I've got enough room to do the VPO3 and the VC340. I could do it though. We'll see what's happening with Andy.
You hearing me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just give it a tap for me on the top of the mic. Yeah, that's that mic. That sounds better.
I'll turn it up a bit. It's a bit low. Yeah. How are we doing now? Is that better? Is that more with it?
Yeah, it sounds a little bit clearer. If you can, I don't know if you can get that mic closer to you when you're sitting down. That might be better for you. Sorry guys, I'm just sorting out a few things here, getting set up. Now everything's ready from my end on the show. We're just getting all the guests ready. Do understand though that whoever's watching this for the first time, this is called the pre-show, as I said before. So the pre-show is kind of just us getting everything ready, and we start in about 10 minutes officially. Unofficially, we've already started because we're already streaming. So this is to iron out all the gremlins. Right. Okie dokies. Now, I've got pages ready there. Yep. And I'm just checking the stream health. It looks pretty good. Analytics, stream health, everything says good. I don't know whose that was. Was that yours, Dean?
That was me.
Ah.
Yeah, that's the Super 6.
Oh, yes. So Dean just got a Super 6. And we'll ask him all about that in the show because he's pretty excited by it. That's the I don't know what you'd call it. Would you call it kind of like a Jupiter-ish sounding synth? There you go. Look at that. Let's go. What's it based on, Dean?
Yeah, you're looking at the Jupiter 6. It does sound like in the partial, I think, Jupiter 8. But it also really reminds me of my JP out 1000. Getting a lot of sounds out of it that are very similar to that. It's a very like soft overall kind of synth, really. I'm excited about it. It's taken me time to get a little bit deeper with it. I was talking to Mark Tinsley over in Glastonbury, and he was the one who basically persuaded me because I wanted to get my Jupiter 6, as you know. And he had heard it, and he said to me, you know, fitting the Jupiter 6 in the mix is difficult in itself. And I spoke to Starsky and a chat with him, and he obviously had that review, didn't he, where he had them both together. And I always believe you've got to have someone who's had them both together to get that real, you know, for me, that decision. And they both kind of aired towards that, and especially with a Jupiter 6, there's some components you can't get, so it's such a risky investment. I'd love one, but I'm not disappointed. But it's quite weird for me because obviously with all the stuff I have in here, it can be, first of all, slightly disappointing at the start because I've got the Juno, it's got the Juno thing going on, it's got a lot of stuff going on. So if it was with a smaller setup, this is a wicked synth because it covers so many grounds. But I was a little bit like, oh, I've got that sound. But as I've got deeper now, I'm finding the treasures. So.
Excellent. Now, I will admit, for me, if I was to buy at my normal music retailer, full retail price, you know, no under-the-counter discounts or anything like that, it would cost me, and this is Australian dollars, $4,699. Now, I'll tell you what that is, just as a conversion to pounds. It's the better part of £2,500. So now let's just have a quick look at what you can buy it for in England at some of the retailers. Yeah, so with GST, and you guys have got VAT and everything. So if I look at, see, Australia has that sort of bit of a freighty markup that we put on stuff. So it's about 2,100, 2,200 pounds is probably about the going rate. Full retail without taking VAT or anything off.
I paid 2,200.
Yeah, so you're on the park. Where are we?
Plus 3 leads.
Oh, right.
Always old school.
I was just having a look. If I was to buy this in the UK, I could get a brand new one for £1,800. Obviously, that's VAT free because you'd pay the VAT on entry into Australia. So it's about $1,300 cheaper, and I would say the GST and everything, I'd say it'd be cheaper for me to buy that and import it into Australia than buy it from the local retailer. That sort of thing really peeves me off because the retailers in Australia obviously want to make their cut, they want to make their profit and everything, but the retailers in the UK are still making a profit. So somewhere in, you know, in the world, someone's making more profit than someone else, and it's not even Steven. And that's a good segue for something that's going to happen a little bit later in the show. We're going to talk about some news that I heard about a certain couple of companies that got done for price fixing again. Recent news. So, yeah. Andy, how you going with your audio? Thumbs up or thumbs sideways or thumbs down?
I don't know. You tell me. Let me know. Can you hear me or not?
Oh, yes, I can. That sounds good, buddy.
So right. I had a sudden flash of inspiration.
Yeah.
There seems the sound before was coming through the Steinberg UR22 audio interface.
Yeah.
And there seems to be something. It seems to be that. So what I realised that this MkII desk that I've got up here has a direct USB out. So I've just taken a USB cable from that and plugged it in. So are you definitely getting this microphone?
Absolutely, and it sounds beautiful.
Right, okay.
So you can put your DJ voice on, mate.
Hello, everybody. I'm glad we managed to get everything working, and hope we're all having a jolly spiffing Saturday afternoon.
That's wonderful.
Hope you get yourself ready for pick of the pops.
I'm actually a little bit jealous because that mic sounds better than my little wireless mic, and I still think
it's cheap.
I still think I'm coming in a bit quiet,
And it won't die.
yeah, like last week, hey, the battery went. Yeah, that was funny. Anything's going to go wrong, it will go wrong on this show. Absolutely, you can bet your money on it.
Now that Dean's sitting there, I've got to make an apology to Dean because I've meant to ring him back. When you rang me, I think it was on Wednesday or something like that. I was in the middle of a detour trying to get into Cairngorm National Park. The main tourist route was shut, and I was going through all these little back lanes. And of course, it's the bloody Cairngorms. There was no reason. I can't even do battle with this. So I'm sorry, Dean. When you rang me, I was trying to get to Granton on Spey in the Highlands. I was having a lovely time.
No
it was
problem,
gorgeous ride, but so I'm sorry about that. By the time I got back
just wrong number.
It wasn't wrong number. It was I just couldn't get it. Yeah.
See, that's actually how Dean got on the show. He prank calls everyone until someone will finally let him in. No, just kidding. We're about 2 minutes away from hitting the main show, so just hang in there for those who have just joined us. We will hit a magic button in a minute and roll the introductory stinger and all that sort of stuff, and you guys can get all excited about it. Not really, but yeah. So this week I've decided to be a bit more daring and go with the topic analog versus digital, everyone's favorite topic, especially in forums. Don't the keyboard warriors love to talk about this stuff? But we're not really going to be doing a war type topic this week. We're going to be talking about the difference in sound between the analog clones that we get. So we'll just go back to this shot here. So you can see there's the RD8 there, and behind it is TR8. So we're just going to have a little play and see what does it sound like in the mix. I mean, is it really that much different? But I think what we'll also try and do too, and I'll probably need some of your help in the chat and also you guys calling in. Functionality-wise, I haven't had the RD8 for very long, so I'm not well known to how it works and everything. So like we're going to look at performing on that versus performing on that, and then obviously we'll go across and do the TD3 and the TB3. I don't have any original, so this is not what this show's about. If you're disappointed, don't be disappointed. It's not about comparing an original TB303. I think that's done to death. What we want to do now is we want to see, these are modern products that anyone can buy from the shop right now. What's the difference between the analog and the digital versions? I think a lot of people are scratching their head about it at the moment. So I think I'm going to really try hard to see if I can tackle it, and hopefully I deliver. A lot of people usually don't think I do, but anyway, we'll have a crack. It's live, so what could possibly go wrong? Darren, you've still got your TR8, haven't you? Yep, you're muted. And you've also still got your TB3 as well? Yeah, your Boutique TB3? Yep. So Darren's got the TR8, the TB3, and he's also got the TD. He's got two TD3s above his head there, two yellow ones. So we'll pick your brains. I think Darren will pick your brains a bit more about the TD3 and the TB3. And Andy, your side, you've got, and Darren's also got an SH101, so it's not really going to be about the SH101, but he's got good knowledge about how that sounds. He's had it for a long time. Andy's got the SH01A, same as me.
No, and I used to own an SH101 for a long time, which is why I bought the SH01A, because
beautiful.
I wanted it back.
Excellent. And Dean's got quite a lot of this stuff, so we can pick Dean's brains. So really, the whole point of this show is we're going to use all of us here to sort of get our opinions and things like that, and see how we go with it. Anyway, we're about a minute overdue, so let's roll the stinger. Let's start the show. Boom. Hello, welcome to another Saturday. You've arrived at the end of the internet where we talk about synth geeky stuff. I hope you enjoy it. It's I'm sure you know why you're here anyway. Big welcome to you. This week, as I mentioned before, we're going to be doing a show about digital and analog clones and what's out there on the market. We've got a few here in the studio, and we've also got a few guys here that are going to help us out. But before we do, we're going to have our usual segments, which I'll get to in a sec. But even before we do that, we're going to do things like say hello to our guests. And what should I start with? I might start with Dean because he hasn't been on here for a while. Big hello to you, Dean. How's your week been?
Yeah, it's been quite a manic week. There's been a lot going on in my life. But the great stuff that I keep focused on is my kind of Super 6. And then behind me is the electronic drum kit from Millennium. So I've been mucking about on, having loads of fun with that.
Nice.
And it's just been raining quite a lot over in the UK, but I'm lucky enough to be stuck in here and get loads of fun done.
How's the studio holding up? No leaks or anything?
No, it's all brilliant. And it got finished as such because just down here, just quickly show you, as I get tangled up, these is my like rack unit stuff.
Oh, nicely.
And this wasn't all wired up and linked all to the system. So my Neutron, my Wasp Pro 1 and my Akai, my Vermona, and all there's effects racks down here behind there. They're yet to be done. So yeah, I've lost my camera. There we go. And well done. Yeah, and my new camera. So bear with me, everybody. So that's been my week.
I'll just save you before you
technology.
Yeah, before we full screen on the camera doing a tumble. Big hello to Andy. Andy, nice for you to join us again. How's your week been?
Hello. I've had a great week. Yeah, I've had a real fun week. I got a last minute deal at a hotel in Aberdeen, and I've been in Aberdeenshire and the Highlands of Scotland for the best part of this week.
Nice.
A long drive, but a really, really lovely drive. It was just a gorgeous drive up there. Had a nice few days there. Aberdeen is a beautiful city, but it seems a bit down on its knees at the minute, if I'm honest. So some of the main streets looked a little bit depressed, lots of empty shops, and I think, well, it's a gorgeous city. It's well worth visiting anyway. And the reason for my visit was my other hobby, which is going to sort of ancient monuments and things. I went visiting loads and loads of stone circles and stuff like that. And I took my little Electro with me because it can be powered off batteries. So at each of the little stone circles that I visited, I went and sat myself down and switched it on and created a little pattern at each of the stone circles. And some of them were quite nice little patterns and some of them were rubbish, as is always the case. At my favourite stone circle, the pattern was dreadful because it kept attracting all of these bloody flies. All these flies kept landing on the little screen. They could obviously see this blue light and they kept landing on it. So it was a nightmare. Never got anything done there at Sunhoney Farm. But anyway, but that was my week.
That's good.
Met my brother in Granton-on-Spey. That was the day that Dean rang me up when I was on a big detour because someone had closed the main tourist road. But it's been gorgeous. I've had a great time. I can't wait to go back. I thought I might move to Scotland. Anybody got any good houses for sale? Cheers.
We can look up my auntie. You never know. All righty.
You said you had family in Aberdeen.
We're going to scoot on across to Darren and welcome Darren. How's your week been? Thanks again for joining us.
Wet, like I think Dean said. Just been raining most of the week. Yeah, very wet and pretty dull. Let's put it that way.
Does your work get tricky when it's wet? I mean, we don't have to reveal what you do, but does it become a little bit trickier when it's wet, or does it sort of stop you from working? Or
No, it never stops us from working. It just means that I get wet, and it's. I won't say. I don't think it makes any difference. It's just a bit more awkward, I suppose. And it just makes the day feel longer. I don't know why it does, but it just seems to do. And then you have to get back here, and then it's like, do I have time to go in the studio or not? Or do I get time to do anything, to sit down and get an hour of it, and then it's like, just sit at a blank screen and then switch these things on and just go, no, nothing's happening today. So yeah, it's a bit of a, that's in it. I think the summertime's probably the worst for me. It's great. It's just a pain. You're either getting back late and it's just, you don't feel as though you've got enough time, even though you probably have. You just, but sort of inspiration goes a lot. So
you're probably just tired, mate.
Other than, well, that as well, yeah. Getting up very early and then...
You're allowed to be tired.
So that, yeah, other than that, no, I've just been working on the track for tomorrow because I didn't put one up last week because I was thinking people might be getting bored with the tracks going up, so I was going to give it a break. So, and I was looking back through some of my tracks going back quite a way back. And I remember that I did an Orbital Glitch sort of mini album or starting working on it. And I realised I hadn't put any of the other tracks up. So I think tomorrow I'm going to be putting Orbital Glitch 1.2
Sounds good.
up.
I remember those ones.
So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
We'll see how that goes. Hence the T-shirt.
Yes, exciting. I actually like your Orbital stuff. It's good. Fantastic. Well, we're obviously going to look forward to that. That'll come out tomorrow, I guess, your sort of afternoon time.
About 4 o'clock.
About 4 o'clock. All right, beautiful. All right. Okay, we got through the hellos. We're going to say hello to the chatties now. And obviously, there they are there. That's not working. Why does that never work? I can't blame Andy. It's not fair, Andy. I can't blame you for this. It's muted.
Yeah, I started the bad luck off dropping the camera, see.
Oh, okay. There we go. Let's try it again. There's all the chatties. Yay! When sometimes I post the link in, it doesn't work. Wow, this has been scrolling for a while. I think it might have been Moog who's got the yellow Guernsey this week. Bit of a Tour de France pun there. Synth Addict is there. Andy, welcome to you, mate. You're either up extremely late or you're up extremely early, one of the two. So hello to you. Martin Taylor, JP Page 2, Future World Machines, Robbie Puricelli's there, Failed Muso. Big hello to you, mate. Corrosive Abuser, Sasquatch. And we also have scrolling Keith and Watford JX3D. We played one of his tracks last week. That was awesome. Who else we got? Ricardo Menegasso. I think Ricardo is a new person, if I remember rightly. Tell me if I'm wrong, but a big welcome to you. Sensien's there. Who else have we got? Lisa's there. Inky. QRDNK. And scrolling. I always forget people because it kind of
Robbie's
scrolls
just
off my
jumped
screen.
Kent Spong's there. Yeah, Kent.
Merbert and Cruelli. Have we had Merbert before? Big hello to you, Merbert,
Yes.
if you're new.
He was there last week.
Oh, he was there last week? Okay. I've got a memory like a goldfish when it comes to this stuff, so I do apologise. Big hello to Kent. Good to see you. I'm just going to be saying this forever, so I'm going to scroll to the last couple of and see if anyone's jumped in at the last second. We've got Ben Breslin. Big hello to you, Ben. And who else do we get? Native VS. And I think that'll do for now. So anyone I missed, just throw your synth at the screen because you can't be missed. Wow, how can you miss someone? Anyway, let's go to that first segment. If you're new here, we do regular segments. The first one we do is called Funny Side. Now, Funny Side happens to come around when you do reach the end of the internet and you have these things called memes that pop up. This is not really a funny side thing. I just thought this was actually really cool. I posted this in the Pro Synth Network Facebook group during the week and I thought, wow, this is actually quite interesting. Now, you probably can't really see it that clearly there. But if you do have an actual Facebook and membership to the Pro Synth Network group, you can go and see a bigger version of it. Robbie's put some close-ups of some of those things. Now, what it is an infographic of the Pet Shop Boys 91 tour and all the gear.
I seem to remember seeing that at some point in the past.
Yeah, I've seen it before as well. And I just think this sort of stuff is just amazing. So it's not really, it doesn't really belong in the funny side, to be honest. But I mean, it's just amazing at this stuff. And yeah, it goes into detail. You can't really see it there, but it shows you all the different bits of gear. There's ADAT recorders and samplers, and there's even an MkII, which is the rack-mounted version of a Jupiter, Jupiter 8. So yeah. Anyway, those who are interested in that, yeah. That'll get our little nerdy hats flapping and wagging. What else we got? This one's pretty cool. Boom, boom. Shh. Pardon the pun. And we got this one. I thought this was interesting.
Oh, that's cool.
I actually wouldn't mind getting a little phone, graphic thing like that. I reckon that's actually pretty cool. So, yeah, these mini Moogs are getting pretty mini now, aren't they? And what else we got? This one I thought was interesting. So this is from Crap Signs, Depeche Mode, Pizzeria. Notice the your own personal Jesus down the bottom. For those who know the song. Yes, very clever. Gentlemen, memes for the week, which one was your favourite?
Pet Shop Boys
Well,
set up.
I won't say it was me, but the Pet Shop Boys one set up.
Pet Shop Boys?
Yeah, that's what I was going for.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Lots of sampling and synthy fun in that, absolutely, that's for sure. Beautiful. Let's have a quick look at what are the chatties saying. What was their favourite? The password one. Oh, they're all saying the password one. They like that one. Fantastic. There's always funny jokes about passwords, no matter what you do. Okay, now we do have news, so I'm going to get stuck straight into it. So we'll roll a news stinger. Okay, and we're going to start with this. Well, there you go. The first bit of news is that Roland/Boss have released another RC505. This is the Mark II, and this thing looks the part. I know there's a lot of us synthy people that have got the Mark I, so I definitely think this is on the radar for some people who never got the Mark I, and maybe the Mark II's come out. Anyway, just a quick couple of things about it. If you're wondering what it is, it's a looping workstation. It's got 32-bit AD to DA conversion, which in layman's language is analog to digital to analog, with 32-bit floating point processing, 49 inputs, FX and 53 track FX, dual XLR mic inputs, a pair of stereo line inputs, and 3 stereo line output pairs. I'd actually like to see someone do a comparison between the two, to see what the physical differences are, or if it's all just software. In which case, if it's all just software, it'd be nice to see if they were going to let the software available for the old one. Anyway, tabletop looper with 5 stereo phase tracks, an onboard rhythm generator. The 5 stereo tracks have dedicated controls with volume faders, as you can see there. One of the good things about this is you can kind of arm tracks and then record them, and you can mute them, and bring them back in, and they all seem to, it's quite intelligent how this works. They all seem to keep in sync and tempo and everything like that. There's mark back functions, undo, redo functionality when performing, and that's a pretty cool thing. And yeah, whole heap of other stuff, which you guys can go check out yourself. It's available at the end of the last quarter of the year, and it's going to be $5.99, or better part of $600 US. So, who wants to have a quick comment about this?
Can I jump in? That's
You
all right.
certainly can.
Interestingly enough, DAZA, Intergalactic Federation, did a sort of little premiere thing yesterday morning UK time. And in the little chat box, he was complaining about the audio quality. And I think he was complaining about the audio quality of the original version, which he's using. Now, it's interesting that this has come out, and this has now got 32-bit converters and so on. So it was interesting that he'd yesterday said that, you know, the audio quality was not as good as he would like it, and perhaps a bit noisy, a bit scratchy. Maybe this is just what he's after. When I've been long into the idea of getting hold of a looper, I haven't done so yet. I know there's one in the MPC, and I know there's other ways of doing it, but a little dedicated one like that would be perhaps quite cool. If they do a 2-channel one as well, which I know there is a 2-channel version, that might be something that floats me boat. But
The 202,
definitely
it's called.
yeah. Are they doing a Mark II of that as well? Do you know?
I haven't heard, but I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah.
Well, it'll be cool anyway. I think it's a nice development and very interesting. Yes, I'll be an Ed Sheeran wannabe too, Robbie. Definitely.
Be interesting to see if they have improved the audio quality. And Dean or Darren want to make a quick comment about this before we go to the next?
Well, for those who like loopers, it looks great. I mean, I've never really messed about with a looper, but you've got to have a bit of good timing. And since I can't even get anything in time, even by putting it in with the mouse on 444, even a looper
drivel.
won't help. But
Absolute drivel.
But yeah, for loopers, I think I like the look of it, and I've always sort of fancied one, but I just wouldn't. No.
Did
But it's good. I like
Darren
it.
just say he has trouble getting it in for timing? Oh.
Whoa.
Right. Dean, are you a looper? Are you a looper kind of guy? Are you a sample looper? Do you eat it and spit it out? What do you do?
Yeah. No, not for me. But funny enough, first of all, I just saw this and I had no attraction to it at all. And then suddenly I realised that I do like the idea of a looper. That's kind of linking to Darren really slightly, but with my guitar, because I'm not a great guitarist. So I can like cheat things together that make me sound good on a guitar. I think that would be a useful way of using it for me.
Isn't that what all guitarists do?
I played the whole thing in one.
Whoa.
Just kidding. Just kidding. Jeez, we love to stir on this channel.
Throw your Stratocaster at the screen.
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Throw your Les Paul. All right. What about this? I thought this was interesting. We'll have to be very quick with this. We'll pause it there and we'll go to here. Yes, if you're wondering what that is, yes, you've all been waiting for it. The new album from Vangelis, if you want to call it that. Absolutely exciting about this. Decca Records. So it's called Juno to Jupiter. It's inspired by NASA's groundbreaking Juno space probe mission and its ongoing exploration of Jupiter. I have heard about this, I have to admit. I think a lot of people have heard about this in the making, and it's coming. But the good news is it's out now, you can get it.
You sneaked me album cover for me 2021 album.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to change that now because it was very similar, and I haven't even seen this before.
18 tracks, Darren. So if you're releasing an
And
album,
I've got 17, so he's
Yeah.
copied. He's literally copied what I've got because mine's part of space as well.
you're gonna have to get on the phone.
That's it. I quit.
Yeah, quit. Do it.
Plagiarism is the sincerest form of flattery, Darren.
Yes, but Darren, are you going to have yours available on CD, digital formats, and vinyl, and a limited edition box as well?
Mine's going to be on picture disc as well.
Use a cornflake box.
Right. Let's not rubbish the man. there is kind of, there's a link to some of his older film type. You probably you'd probably hear obviously the Blade Runner sounds in there and the Antarctica sounds, and they've been around for a long time. Those soundtracks. So I think true diehard Vangelis fans would absolutely love this. 18 tracks to sink your teeth into. Gentlemen, what do you think about that? Is that good news? We don't usually talk about albums being released on this show, but I thought it's quite synthy related. So start with you, Dean. Are you a Vangelis fan?
To be honest, no. I've never really listened to him much. I hear when people talk about it and they play some of his stuff, and but I've never sat there and listened to a whole album of Vangelis. I love the sounds. It's the keyboards I love, really.
Yeah.
And
maybe this one might be for you.
Listener.
You never know. Give it a go.
I think I should break the mold. I
know one gentleman that would be interested in this, and that's this gentleman here.
Oh yeah, I like it. I'll be happy. I'll definitely check that out. I've loved Vangelis alongside all the other classics of electronic music from way back when. I remember, Apollo. No, I'm going to admit, that's not right. So there's an album called Apollo. I'm making mix it with Brian. There's what I bet I'm sure I was actually playing one of the lines. Is it
Spiral?
Oh, yeah, it was one. Albedo.
Albedo. Yep.
And, all that stuff, and then of course, what's it all called? China.
China was good.
A few, all down in vinyl down there in the other room. Which to be honest, I haven't listened to them for a long time, and I really ought to. So maybe have a check this one out and rediscover some love of Vangelis.
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, I've got.
That's it. Full star. That was it, Sergio. Thank you very much.
I think it was. I think the album that you actually are thinking of might have been called Albedo 0.39. I think, but there's also kind of like there's a lot less Spiral, which is an interesting album from his early days. Dervish D and 3+3 and songs like that. So yeah, definitely check it out because I think it's definitely a step back in his older sort of music anyway, with a bit of a nod to some of the newer stuff. I just think it's incredible. I mean, how old is he now? He'd be hitting the 80s soon, wouldn't he? Surely.
He must be getting on a bit.
Yeah, let's see if we can find out how old he's. 78 years old. There you go. I was pretty close. I don't want to call him 80 just yet because that will just piss him off. But yeah, I knew he was getting close. Anyway, I think we'll go to the next one, which I think is actually really, really cool. Now, this is Marcus Pedrini, and this is his Moog Sub 37 Patches Volume 2. This is a free download. Need to get filter sweep. Just do a quick skip through this for you. This is one of my favourite synths that Moog have actually produced, probably because I own one. I actually just think there's a bit of character about this synth that they didn't really have in the Mini Moog. They've got in this. I know it's a slightly different architecture and everything, but I don't know. There's just something special about the Sub 37, the subsequent 37. Both of them are very similar. I think slight voice differences. Who else here has got one of those? I know. I don't know. I don't think Darren or Andrew does. Do you have a Sub 37, Dean?
No.
You've just got the Mini Moog, haven't you?
No. Yeah, the Mini Moog. Yeah.
Yep. I'm just interested to see. Now, this actual offer is actually free. You can go to. I might actually see if I can give you guys a link directly to it. Into the chat room, and it's a free zip download. It's how many did I say there was? 200 or something free patches. Okay, see if I can give the link. It's a tiny URL link. I've just chucked it in the chat. So if you are a Sub 37 owner, go get yourself some patches, and a big shout out to to Marcus, who does awesome videos, by the way, too. Thought I'd give him a free plug. Let's move on to the next. What about this thing? Big shout out to Robin, by the way, who did this video. Let's have a listen.
What this is an 8-voice polyphonic synthesizer in a little module. Just in a module, just right within your Eurorack.
I think it's a brilliant idea, this is. This is, as Robin beautifully said before, this is a nice little Eurorack module by Knobula, 8-voice polyphonic synth, and obviously it's probably got some digitalness in it. But yeah, there's a lot going on in this little module, and a lot of people say to me, "Oh, don't get into your rack because I've got to, buy so many modules, and before I can get, what is this polyphonic business? I can't even get that. I've got to buy $5,000 worth of modules." Well, you can just buy one. There you go. That answers that query, doesn't it? What do you guys think of the Knobula? Have you guys checked it out yet?
Yeah,
That is what I do like.
I watched.
We'll go with Andy first. Darren, I'll comment to you next.
Oh, all right, okay. I think this is a really great idea. I mean, I don't think as a polysynth it's going to cover everything you'd ever need from a polysynth. But if you're just thinking about gigging with a Eurorack system, which is something I'm working on right now, the idea of having a little polysynth just in there as one unit, which you can, like as Robin said, you can just do chords, pads, and integrate it quite happily. That's a great idea. That is a really, really great idea. I mean, it's not the cheapest thing on the planet, but it's not stupidly expensive either. I mean, I think it's about 350 quid.
£320, yeah.
So £320. So it's a bit more of a markup than you might pay for something. But it's the convenience of it. It's not very big. You can slot it in a rack, and then you can just put a MIDI cable into it from a key step or something like that, and it's just there, and you can just use it.
So it's only 12 HP.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Absolutely great idea, and I think I'll put my name down on the waiting list for one of those. I think it's going to be available in a couple of months, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree with you. We'll go to Darren. 7 oscillator super saw, Darren. What do you think of that?
Well, I was just going to agree with everything Andy said, basically. Yeah, just what Andy said.
Well, how about 56? What is it? You can either be a 7 oscillator super saw per voice, or 56 with 8 voices. 3 oscillator syncable wave shape square pulse, or 3 oscillator detuned tone wheel organ. There you go. That's not bad. It's also got low pass notch and high pass filter. Classic. I'm keeping it on Darren because his reaction faces are just brilliant. Classic cutoff and resonance controls. He can even Rave Dave could even make an appearance soon. It does have
any bass about.
But this is the thing, right? I mean, just have a look at that. Where's that picture gone again? Just in front of Darren. It does have a filter. It does have an envelope. It does have a few other controls on there. So it's not like one of those modules where you have to get everything else as well, and it's just an oscillator. So there's a lot going on in it. So Andy, when you talked about the price, maybe that makes it a bit more valuable in that sense.
I think so. But another thing which really should make it appeal to Darren is the colour scheme is just like the squashies he was eating last week.
He's looking for him. He's got Haribos this week.
Oh, he's got Haribos as well, right?
What are the chatties saying about this stuff? Let's have a look what the chatties are saying. It's hard for me to keep track of this.
A bit of news come through about one of the members of Daft Punk, or somebody who worked with Daft Punk. I think somebody called Paul Johnson, who's passed away.
DJ Paul.
Yeah.
I think I saw that. I actually didn't. I don't really know anything about this guy, but R.I.P. to him. Yeah, I did see that during the week. But yeah, more modular gas. Yes, says Andy. What else we got? Anyone anyone interested in the other thing, the subs 37 patches? Did we get any sort of bites to that? Yes, we did. We did. That's good. Okay, so out of the news this week, what was your favourite?
Oh,
last
definitely that module.
Module?
Yeah, definitely the module.
What about you, Dean? You got a pick?
Yeah, I think the module, because if I went down the Europe route and like Andrew was saying to travel, it sounds like a Microfreak to me. It's got a very similar sound to that. And that's a lovely little toy.
Right.
Yeah, it's a bit metallic-y sounding, but I thought when Robin was demonstrating that they had loads of character. I mean, things. Sometimes it sounded like an old-fashioned string synth, then it sounded a bit like an organ. But the fact that you can input a bit of movement in it, that's all right. And I thought it sounded very characterful. I liked it a lot.
Well, just to sort of give you guys a bit more of a plug for this, Knobula are actually based in London. So there you go, which is a good thing, you know. Anyway, well, it might not be if you're in Antarctica, but that is neither here nor there. Why don't we have a look at some dodgy prices? Once again, dodgy prices this week are brought to you by Andy, who's Synth Addict, who is actually in the chat room this week, which is actually a cool thing. We may be even surprised to have Andy on soon, if we're lucky. Anyway, let's get stuck into the first one. Andy, big thanks to you, mate, for bringing these in. I've still got a few left, so I'm going to just chew through them because they're all really, really good. He's gone to the effort to screenshot all these for me too, so it's brilliant. An EMS, we get lots of VCS3s in the price watch, and I think they never ever disappoint. This one's got a $6,000 price drop. This is in US dollars. Yeah, I think I would even just be happy with the $6,000 in my pocket and just say, look, I don't want it, thanks, but I'll keep the 6,000. 1970s Mark II, no keyboard. Yeah, I don't know. How come it's got a keyboard in front of it, but you don't get it? That's not very nice. Yeah.
That's a different thing, that.
Yeah, there's even pictures of it. If you look underneath, there's a picture of a keyboard about the fourth picture along. Jeez, that's a bit dodgy.
Kent would know whether that's actually an EMS keyboard thing or whether it's something else. I don't recognise that at all, but it looks like it could be used as a controller. Kent, let us know what you think.
I just think those things look amazing. I mean, like, how old is that? It's older than me. That thing.
It's a bit of test equipment, isn't it?
It's just brilliant. It's like, look at the photo there. It's in the lounge room and you've got the lamp in the background. I mean, all lounge rooms need a nice bit of wood furniture like that with some knobs on it. Let's move along. We should go to the next one. This one's pretty good. This is a rare original modular RA Moog Model 12. And 1972, so yeah, it's quite young, that, 1972. Nice keyboard on those things. Fully serviced, 28 grand, 28 and a bit closer to 29 grand. Whereabouts is this one based? This one's based in Japan. Hello to all the people who are in Yokohama in Japan. I wonder if they're enjoying the Olympics at the moment, playing on their Model 12. One hand on the Model 12, the other hand on the remote control. Yeah.
Kent says that previous keyboard was the KS from the AKS. All right, thanks, Kent.
But it said no KS in the thing. If I just go back to it,
so
it said no KS. So why show photos of the KS keyboard in it when... anyway, moving right along. Yeah, just to piss me off. Right, let's go to the next one. We have got this is all Moog today. We've got a Moog 24 karat gold mini Moog Voyager 10th edition, 10th anniversary limited edition, number 10 of 30. I remember these. Do you guys remember these when they came out? Yep. 32 grand. Yeah, 32 grand, hey? Oh dear. Wow. I mean, I think they weren't 32 grand brand new when they first came out. I think they were kind of, I don't know, maybe around the 9 grand mark or something. Someone will remember, actually. This one is in Florida. Big hello to Astrid Records in Florida. So, yeah. And what's the last one? Last one is the Waldorf Wave Shadow. 32 voice, 76 keys, just in case you needed the extra. Excellent condition in Chicago. And there's a video I don't have the videos. Hello to everyone in Chicago at Borish Electronics. Awesome shop. I've never been there. It's 35 grand US for a Waldorf Shadow. I don't have the effects on today, sorry. Anyone have a favorite price watch? Big thanks to Andy for bringing them in.
They were all classics, weren't they? They were each one of those was a desirable machine with a hefty price tag. I don't know much about the Wave. I don't know if it ever worked properly. Does anybody know anything about whether it works properly or not? It was certainly a monster thing.
Yeah, well, you'd be getting close to 100 grand if you bought all four of those things.
Muso, yeah. If the Wave dies, yeah, I think it had a reputation of being extremely unreliable. So,
what did they say about this one?
Got one of them at the bottom. Ken said he's got one at the bottom of his garden. Is that one of the things in the shed, Ken?
Is he talking
that someone's dropped off and never come back for?
Is he just talking about the shadow in his garden? Is he scared of going there at night?
I think Kent will probably mean he's got one stuck in behind a load of other stuff.
Fair enough.
Unfixable.
Fair enough. Okay, what are we up to? Wow, we've got through all the segments, and we're how far are we in? Okay, we're doing pretty good. Right. Okay, we're at the exciting part of the show. Not really. Well, we're going to do the digital versus analog, aren't we? Yeah. Let's do it. So what do you guys think? You know, is there much of a difference between these things? Are they going to sound the same? What do you think? Is the RD8 going to sound the same as the TR8? Has anyone actually ever compared the two? That's interesting, isn't it? So,
yeah.
Yeah, Dean, what's your thoughts?
They're different for sure. And like the snare on the TR8, I like much more than on the RD8. It's got that real punch from the original one. It's not so punchy. It all sounds analog, yeah, on the RD8, and it's nice, like hi-hats, and everyone's preference is different, but I'll probably actually layer the two snares together. That's what I'll probably do with it.
Right. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go to, what can I do? I'm going to go to picture of Darren, because we like picking on him, just while I mute a couple of things. So what am I going to mute? I'm going to mute that, and that. And we're just going to listen to, first we're going to listen to is the TR8. So we'll go back to here. And I'll tell Pam to start the dance. Go, Pam. You guys hear that, all right? All right, so that's, you need me to turn it up.
That's about it.
All right, so let's just have a listen to, we'll take the hats out. We'll take the clap out. Where's the clap gone? And take the snare out. Right, so that's just the kick drum. So let's just have a listen to that. We'll just play with the compression. Someone's making banging noises. So that's just the compression. Now we'll listen to the decay. And I can tune it now. There's not a lot of variety of the tuning there. So this is just an 808 sounding drum, right? So I am going to go back to Darren. Darren's my mask. Hi, Darren. Now we're going to go to the T. Yeah. Now we're going to go to the RD8, and we're going to do the same thing. So with the RD8, we're going to go bass drum we've got. We don't want any snare. We don't want a clap. Clap. We don't want an open hat, closed hat. Take them off. Pretty much the same way to program the steps in. Slightly different interface, but pretty much the same way. All right, let's go, Pams. Let's fire away. Okay, so with the RD8, you've got this accent and bass drum sound. So let's just play around with that a little bit. So there's the tone. So that gives it a bit more of a slap sound, which is kind of similar to the compression thing on the TR8, but different. It's more of a clicky sound, isn't it? And let's change the decay. And now the tuning. I think that goes higher. There we go. All right, thanks Pam. You're doing good. So that was just really, really basic, but how much different do those two sound? Just a quick opinions. Maybe we'll start with you, Andy. What did you think of the difference between the two kick drums? This is just a real basic.
I think they sound very similar, but I think I prefer the sound of the RD8. It goes, the range is wider, isn't it? It goes higher to deeper, and the decay just seems smoother. The TR8 seemed to go into more of that sort of boomy distortion when you sort of turned up the decay. It's hard for me to judge hearing it all over YouTube, but I think the RD8 sounded nicer.
Of course. Wait till you start hearing some of the other sounds. Okay, so let's bring the RD8 back in, and we'll put some claps and stuff back in, right? So let's put a clap in. Okay, we'll muck around with the clap a bit. And we'll shorten it. Okay, now let's do the same to the TR8. Bring the clap in. And we did the clap on. That's the clap tone. So you got more tuning on the clap there. All right, let's listen to them at the same time. There you go. Power TR808s. So the claps sound different. I forgot to switch back to my camera then. I do apologise. There wasn't really anything to see. I'll just quickly do that again. So all I was doing was just changing the parameters on the clap. There's only two plus the volume. And on the RD8, there's only two and the volume on that too. You do have a maracas option. Let's just turn that off. There you go. All right, so that, I mean, it's pretty. This stuff's going to get pretty dry and boring if we can continue down this sort of path. But generally speaking, that's what you guys would be doing. You'd be listening to the instrument and going, which one sounds better to my ears? You know, which one sounds clearer? Which one sounds more romantic? I mean, these are like 80s drum machines, so you're going to kind of want that specific sound. I think if we can program in, what are we on at the moment? We're on a, okay, so we're on the RD8. So let's get some closed hats in. Alright, and that's good. Alright, let's change the kick a bit. There's more of a techno beat there for you. All right. And then you've got the filter on this thing. Okay. So, TR8 time, or should we start listening to the TB303 type sounding things? I think maybe just a quick one on the 303s, yeah? So we've got that beat going. Why don't we add the analog one in? I've got a bit of MX1 delay on this, and I can turn it off if you guys are real anal about that sort of stuff, but I just think it sounds nice. That's with the distortion. All right, so that's analog. Why don't we try digital? Analog over to digital. It's going to be a different sound, different sequence. Go. Swap them over. And take the effects off. Swap it over.
And both together.
Yeah, why not? There you go. So there's a bit of difference in sound. Did you guys notice much difference between the two 303 sounding bits of gear? I thought they sounded different to me. I'm going to go to Darren on this because Darren's got both of them as well. What do you think, Darren? I'm just going to crack a beer.
Yeah, there is. It's a bit hard to hear with just one earbud in as well. There is. I've stopped using the Roland TB03. I don't use that anymore. It just sits there on the thing because I do like the sort of the TD3s. It's hard to sort of, without sitting in a studio and having them both going together and listening to it like that. It's sort of hard to. It's a 303 acid sound at the end of the day, and when you start writing tracks with it, it's not. How do I put it? It's not like I've also got an MB 33. Now that sounds different again, but it doesn't have that. Is it warmth? I'd be saying the TB03 sounds a little bit. Doesn't sound quite as crisp, if that's the word, as the TD3s. It's without sitting there and hearing it, it's hard to explain. There is a difference, and you can tell between the TD3 and the TB03, and there's another difference again with the MB33, which is analog and all, and that is a slightly. It doesn't seem to. I think it's the saw wave on that doesn't sound the same as on the TD03. Well, there is difference in between them, but they're they're not a huge difference between all of the units, I would say. It's nothing.
They're not massive synths, really, are they?
No, and it's not going to be something like you walk into a room and go, oh my god, that's not a TD3 or that's not a TB03. You'd have to sort of
Yeah.
You have to really listen to it. You can tell there is a difference, but it's not for the non-synth connoisseur, I would say, that would notice any difference between them all.
So you said before that you've put the Roland away, and you seem to like the TD3s.
Yeah.
So just interested to pick on that a little bit. Like, why do you think you've done that?
I don't know whether it's in the mind or whether it's the form factor, because as you can, the form factor of the TD303s, it just feels better. The knobs are a bit more spaced apart, a bit bigger. Everything just feels it just feels more user friendly. Whereas the boutique version, I'm not saying it doesn't sound good, because it does, but I don't know. I've not got big fingers, but I just find it really. It doesn't flow, whereas the TD3s do. The TD3 does, and it just got put to the side.
Interesting.
So I wouldn't say it's because of the sound itself.
Interesting you say that, Darren, because the original TB303 actually is pretty similar to the TD3 in terms of size. So the boutique is definitely smaller than the original. So
I think it's just a size factor. If you're after plus, actually, when you think about it, that Roland TB03, for the price of that, I don't know whether it's still going for the same price. You can pretty much get 2 of the TD3s.
You can, yeah.
And it's like,
we do have to factor that in.
As much?
I think we do have to factor that in, because price is also a reason why people buy things. You've got sound. If it's not much difference, then price will be a factor. If the sound is a massive difference, then price may be not so much a factor. But let's just have a look. If you can still get them.
It said TB03 has built-in effects, but then again, you can get a TD03, and buy a couple of effects pedals, cheap effects pedals.
I better log out. Actually.
In fact, where am I going?
How do I log out of this thing? Here we go. Because every time I go to this website,
the TD3, sorry,
280.
I think it's 70.
Oh, that's the TB3, not the TB03. Okay, the TB3 is that black one, the era one. They're still selling those at Gear for Music. They are different. I've got one actually. I probably should have brought that out as well. But it's not the same. It's not the same. They're still selling those for 280. The TB3, not the boutique. The TB3 is £282. I can't find the boutique.
Dean, hold it up again.
Pound, I think.
You see, there you go. Down a bit, down a bit, left a bit.
Or
right
or
a bit, right a bit, left a bit.
A grand.
Or
more.
If you're wondering though, that there's nothing wrong with that. That's just
a little bag.
That's the original bag that it's in. There's nothing actually wrong with the 303 there. It's in good nick. And there's the original.
A couple of grand now.
Yeah. Well, Rave Dave actually told me, he sent me a text just then, Darren. He's saying he's just run off with your credit card, so you better catch him. No, I think, out of all seriousness, he's a bit, isn't he? I think, out of all seriousness, and a lot of guys in chat have been saying the same thing, it really just depends on your own ears. It depends on what you want. It could be a form factor thing. In the end, it might be so similar in sound, they don't really care as long as it gets there in the mix. And I guess kind of that's what I'm trying to do tonight today for you guys, is to show you what it actually does sound like in the mix. So that's why I deliberately added a delay effect on it. I didn't think, if you want to kind of go there, I didn't think the TB03 or the TD3 lacked at all. Neither of them lacked. They both cut through. They both had that real acid sort of squeal on the filter. They both definitely delivered the acid sound. So no one's losing there. I just think it's going to be, if we go to that shot where I've got the two next to each other, you're going to be looking at, maybe not purple. Purple's for me though. Yes, love the purple. But yeah, you might like that form factor. One of the benefits of the Roland, other than the fact that it's digital, but the fact that it is digital, is that you can plug that in directly just via USB, and audio, MIDI, and power goes through one cable. And I'd still like that. I think a lot of synth manufacturers need to start looking at this one cable business. I think we're starting to get a bit tired of 15 cables hanging out the back of something. exaggeration, but you know what I mean. That is actually nice, and especially if you've got the MX1 mixer, that actually gets powered off the back of the third port of the USBs on the back. And so literally all I've got to connect that up, MIDI syncing, audio, power, it's all done through one USB cable. Obviously the downside of it is the ground loop noise issue that Roland gear tends to have. But yeah. So let's have a quick look again what sort of chatties are saying.
I thought it was that 303 ham.
Magoo asked if Dean's bought his camera off of Ty Unwin. The thing is, guys, the thing a lot of people don't realise, but the internet connection depends on a lot of things. It depends. They're coming in from wherever they are into Australia and then back out through a different internet connection. So I don't actually think Dean's connection's too bad, actually. If he starts waving things about it, we'll probably start pixelating, but it's actually pretty clear. So I'm actually quite happy with the connections today, considering of the technology behind it. Yeah, go.
Could I come in, Ranzee, just on the 303? Is that, you know, my friend had the TB3 you were talking about? I always get confused with the numbers. I never, ever really wanted to get a digital, and you know what I'm like. I like my analog, but
yeah,
I got the TD3 in my original, and I had that chance. I was talking about the Duke 2 and the Super 6, about getting something alongside each other, rather than YouTube and different brands, and I put them right together. And first initially was a difference until I changed the cutoff frequency, and I got that. They were both slightly different, but then I tweaked everything else, and it was exactly the same. And it's actually a bigger form factor on the TD3. My 303 doesn't get used anymore.
It is a bigger form factor, but it's deeper, isn't it? Like if you sat it on a desk, it goes deeper in. But I think the width.
And they got no new.
I think the width is wider though. You've got
the new modded version coming out. I'm dying to get that. So you can see just by that plant in the background, that's the yellow one I've got over there.
Yep.
And then
yellow, Dean, come on, keep up with the yellows.
So Dean, what you're saying to me is that, I mean, is there an element, Dean, of that you're a little bit worried that you might blow up your old, you know, because your 303's got a bit of value to it, right? Is there a little bit of that behind it, do you think, maybe? That's why you're using the TD3 more?
No, not at all. I mean, actually, I remember brother always told me, actually, with my equipment, he said, always leave it on, because the more you turn the power switches off, they're more likely to break. Yeah. So I kind of not bothered. I like it stays plugged in, and I turn the whole lot on, boom, and it, just to keep it going, you know. But from plugs, so I'd never turn the switches off. But the TD3 is great because you can actually play it on a keyboard.
We may want
to,
Dean. We may want to have Kent come in on that theory there, because I don't know if I'm agreeing with that one about keeping stuff plugged in and not using the power switches. But yeah, keep going.
Yeah. Well, it's still working, and if it's going to break, it's going to go.
Yeah,
there's nothing I can really do about that. But you know, so that's my attitude to it. When it goes, it goes, and I don't think they're too hard to get mended and stuff. But yeah, the TD3, I love it because it can sit in the whole MIDI link. I can internal sync it, so everything else, if I program some sequences on it, and just link it into whatever's running in the studio. So I like that.
Just while we got you there too, Dean, Chris, who's Synthient Sound in the chat, he's actually Chris Synthient, who's on the Pro Synth Network show you might watch. He's actually just commented that you've got a nice Taylor in the background there.
Yes, I love that guitar. Thank you. So my camera can't be that bad. How do you read that?
So he's actually complimented on your camera, by the way. So.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'll give you a quick blast of the TB303 if you wanted.
Yeah, go for it, buddy. Yeah, go for it.
No old pattern. There's no what patterns on it. I did find one, but let's see if we can get it going. Turn that on and then push that up. Hear that?
Oh yeah. See,
Yeah.
I don't know, Dean. I'm still a little bit on the fence about the filter on the original 303. I still think there's a bit of, I don't know what do you want to call it. I still think there's a bit of magic in that original filter, and I don't know if the TD3, the Behringer one, has quite got it. Darren, can you get your filter to whistle like that? I think it can whistle, but I don't think it can whistle like a canary. Do you know what I mean? It just doesn't.
It's a
doesn't
canary.
It's the right colour.
Yeah, canary yellow.
Like me TD3.
Where have we got mine? We got mine.
That
Okay,
one whistles
let's
like
try
a
it.
robin.
Yeah, let's see if we can get these going.
Take the distortion off it, Ranz. Isn't one of the mods that's been put on the new one giving that filter more range? I think it is, isn't it? So that you get a bigger squeal.
So I don't think I can quite get it to whistle as much. The digital one might. We can give that a go. Let's try that. Oh, it's not quite there. So I still think the 303, I still think it's got the edge. I don't know. It just might be the patch that we've programmed, the sequence that we've programmed. There could be a whole bunch of things in there, but yeah, I don't know. I guess. Guys in chat are saying it can be adjusted with minor mods, and Kent's jumped in and said depends solely on the power draw. There you go. So, Kent's asking Dean, is that a Yamaha A35 in the background? He's looking. We can't hear you, by the way, if you're talking. What had you done?
Take a drink.
Yeah.
So the key guitar at the top. So I can't remember the model number of that thing now. I brought it and I've had it so long. So it's got Yamaha Electro organ and I can't remember its model number. It is a Yamaha, but I can't remember its number. So but it's great for because it connects with the I think the MIDI. So it's really handy to play like mini Moogs and all this stuff on it. It's a good laugh.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, just Dean, have you still got the 303 plugged in there? Just
Yeah.
Get that canary back out.
See if I can get some other patterns on the go. Enough volume?
Yep. Maybe just down a tad. Yeah, look at that. Right there. And I think, Dean, if you put a bit of compression in that, and you started mucking around, and then threw a nice distortion. Yeah. So for me,
the big muff.
For me, I still think the original filter has still got some magic to it. And Andy, what do you think? Do you think I'm on the money there, or do you think I'm just barking mad?
Do I think you're on the money, or do I think you're barking mad? Can I not think both things at the same time? Is that either one?
It's a free world.
I think there's something to be said, but I think there's also, it depends how you put it set up. I'm sure some of those that the real sort of snappy that comes from the accent, when you get an accent on it, when it's also got like the little pitch things, and it's quite hard to get it. So Dean's obviously got those programmed into the patterns, which is nice. So I've not used my own TD3 anything like enough. I've only had it switched on a couple of times, so I don't really. I'm not qualified to comment really, so I'd better just shut up now.
I reckon Dean's got a nice whistling acid 303 there.
Of course, there is the truth of that. I mean, I know it's the old cliche, but if you put 2 303s next to each other, they're going to sound the same.
Yeah.
We know this to be true of all vintage analog gear.
That's what they're saying in
what
chat. Yeah. Kent just said something interesting. He said the res will never be the same as the original 303 because they don't use the shitty FETs. I think they're MOSFETs, right? That Roland used. Yeah. So, the components are such. Like we should get. I'm just thinking we should get Paul back on here from Dinsing. Because he'll be
interesting.
He'll definitely have an opinion on this. That's for sure. Anyway, we're kind of getting stuck in a rut with the 303. That always happens, isn't it? I think the 303 is like the ultimate comparison product, isn't it, out there? If you can't get a 303 right, rubbish, throw it at the screen.
Well, it's like anything that makes a slight acid sound. That's it. Compare it with a 303.
Yeah, like
if it's the same type of sim. If it sounds a bit acidy, let's compare it.
Like the Novation Base Station 2. Oh, it's got an acid filter on it. Nah, it doesn't have an acid filter on it. Nice try, Novation.
Well, this sort of thing happens. I mean, whenever you compare any two things which are original and clone. I mean, I remember watching a video of somebody with a DX7 and a Volker FM, and he was going through the presets on the DX7 and the presets on the Volker FM, and how they actually differ. They're not the same. They're similar. They might be exactly the same patches digitally, but they don't sound the same, and there's all sorts of reasons. I mean, I'll point to the. Oh, what's Ranzee doing now? Ranzee's.
You can point. I'll go to you. Sorry, you go. You point.
I'm going to say. The SH01A. I mean, we know these Roland boutiques. They're digital, and when they released this, I thought straight away, I'm going to get one of those. I am definitely getting one of those because I missed my SH101 so much. I sold the SH101 to part fund the Supernova.
Yeah.
And almost regretted it straight away because the Supernova will never sound like an SH101. It just doesn't. And I thought, I miss it. I really miss it. And as soon as I got this and started plugging it in and started playing with it, I thought, it's got that sound. It sounds like an SH101. It'll do more than an SH101. I know it will because it's got the polyphonic mode and you can store patch memories and all that sort of thing. But it's got the sound. There's nothing about that makes me go, this doesn't sound like an SH101.
Yeah.
So, but is it exactly the same? I'm sure if you put it next to a real one, there'd be differences.
I don't think it's much different.
I think, I mean, you've got the Behringer clone of it. Is that's got. Well, we've said it before. We keep saying this. I think if it's got the essence, that's what you're after.
Yeah.
Whether it's digital or analog.
So Wagoo wants me to try the TD3 with distortion turned on. And he thinks it helps accentuate the squeakiness. Nothing like accentuating a bit of squeakiness. Hey, Wagoo. Yeah, we can do that. And I think, I mean, Andy, we're talking about the SH01A. There she is right there. And I've got it unplugged at the moment because I'm using up the spot for the TB03. And just over to the right, I'll move the camera in a sec, you'll see the MS101, which is the Behringer clone of the SH101. Anyway, let's do that for Wagoo because he loves his stuff. All right up. Let's try a different pattern. I'm getting sick of that. Oh,
that's growly.
really hard floor.
Yeah, dead right, Darren.
Anyway, that is that. Yeah, I think we should go SH01A because we can, because I've got it plugged in.
Well, you've obviously going analog and digital, and we've not even got to include. Let me try and get my words out. We've even got to try and include VSTs here.
Yeah, we haven't. Well, Dean's gonna. I think Dean said he was going to try a VST. I don't know. I don't know what's on that. I actually haven't got a keyboard plugged into it at the moment. So let's go digital, and yeah, we're not getting anything on that. Sync. Whoa, what the hell's going on there?
Whoa,
Cool.
that was.
What was that one about?
Yeah.
That was growly.
Someone's putting the blender on.
Something's going on there, isn't it?
Someone's having a shave. The blender.
Ladies and gentlemen, digital has left the building.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happened with that. Bloody hell! I'm gonna have to look into that. I'll chuck the
Blame USB. Blame USB.
Dean, do you have your VST connected by any chance? Because I did ask about that in the chat.
Right, I haven't got the SH101 or VST. I've actually got an original SH101. I was just looking down my list of basically soft synths that I've got here. So I've got. So do come back to me and see if there's something I can kind of compare with what you've got going on.
Okay.
Look.
I can come back to you. Yes.
I'll just say thanks to Mark. He's just doing a super chat there.
Mark's a legend. Good on you, Mark. It is. It's fun. Thanks. Sorry you had to dash, mate. Sorry. There he is. Ooh, there. Beautiful. Good on you, Mark. Thanks, mate. MS101. That's what we want to do. So we can do that with a bit of skullduggery. I need to pan the camera over. There's the MS101. Zoom in a bit. So we've got there's a difference in size between the two. Look at that. Apologies for all the mess there, guys. But yeah. What can I do with that? I'm actually using, if you want to know what I'm using my MS101 for at the moment, is it's actually a really, really good CV keyboard. And obviously it's got, the oscillators and stuff in it as well, which you can add into that. But it's actually been really brilliant for, it's got an arpeggiator, it's got a sequencer. It's just so handy. The only thing that it doesn't do very well is it doesn't have a lot of MIDI implementation in it. So I think Behringer kind of missed the boat a little bit on that. One of the things I loved about the bass station too is the fact that it had really good MIDI implementation on the actual, that you can use it as a controller quite extensively, aftertouch and pitch bending and all that sort of stuff. Whereas on that one, you can't, it's not quite there with all that sort of stuff. Look, the keyboard itself actually has, it's got, a decent keyboard on it, but it's just not implemented properly. Anyway, sound-wise, I don't know if I'm going to get out of jail with the SH01A. I think it's having a berry shocker. I don't know what's going on with it.
Whoa, that sounds like my real SH101 actually.
That is definitely
Is
something.
it getting far too much clock? Is that what's going on with it?
There is nothing wrong with the clock. Oh, maybe that. I'm so sick of that drum beat. You've got no idea. I just want to murder it. What can we do to it? There we go. Added another. I changed it slightly. The clock is set to auto. Internal LFO set to auto. Okay, that's correct. So I have no idea.
On the SHO1A should be set to external because it's responding externally, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just not playing ball. You know what? It's got batteries in it. Maybe the batteries are playing up with it. Sometimes the batteries on these things override whatever else is connected to it for power. Sorry. Let's just shut that up for a sec because it's pissing me off. Okay, let's see if that fixes it. That might have been a battery thing. All right, let's go to think.
Hoover meets dental polisher. Thanks, Andy.
No, it's still doing it.
Yeah, actually, check noise as a modulation source.
Yeah, it was on. There you go. There we go.
You have to put your batteries back in now.
Oh, I'll do it later. Okay, what do we want? Change the tone.
There you go. Bloody noise. Did a whole episode on noise and all it is a nuisance.
Right. I think the SHO1A personally is an extremely good digital emulation. Probably one of the best ones out there.
Just sounds great, doesn't it? Oh yeah, like that, Ranzee.
It's got a really good envelope on this too. Is that not loud enough, is it? There you go. One of my favourite synths of all time, and it's just because it's probably so basic. Now, Andy, you can talk a little bit about yours while I go set up the MS-101.
Oh, we'll talk about it. Well, here it is. This is mine here.
Be a dickhead.
It's a grey one. Yes. And do you know what? I've never saved a single patch in it. Not a single one. Why? Because you don't need to. It's so quick and so easy.
Yeah,
I
you
know
don't
it
need
like
to.
the back of my hand.
Yeah.
I've never actually stored a patch, so but I have it there. And to be honest, I haven't used it for a while. I mean, as you know, my attention has been diverted over to the other side of the room with the big modular setup. Well, I say big modular, the setup modular stuff.
I beg your pardon.
What's really quite good fun is the character of the System 100 stuff that I've got in my rack. It's very, very similar to this. It's great. Play it as a keytar, says Wagyu.
That's not me making that sound,
Yes,
by the way.
thank you.
That's Dean.
Well,
I'm pretty sure.
Was it? Nice
Yeah.
one. Is Dean setting up his real one? Okay, that's wicked. I'll have to have a look at this. I'll switch that on.
All right, we need some sound.
Do you know, I can't even remember what MIDI channel this thing's set to. Yeah? Bollocks. Oh, well, not to worry. There's all sorts going on there. Is that Dean doing
No, that's
that?
me.
Nice one, Dean. Great one. Oh,
That's me now.
That's you.
This is the Roland. No, this is the Behringer, sorry. All right. Just trying to get the same sort of patch as what I had before. And I could probably even get the sequencer to drive it. So keep talking, Andy, while I get this set up.
I hope you like my nice little pot plant that's around the back of my head there. That was a present from
beautiful.
my head of department. I thought I know where to put that. I'll stick it on the shelf there. Yeah. If I ever grumble about the SH01A, it's the menu system for getting to all the things like the switching it from poly to mono to unison to all those other little settings. That sometimes I can never remember what they are, so I always have to get the cheat sheet out and have a look. Like I've just said now, I can't remember what MIDI channel this one's set to. I knew I should have put a sticker on it that said 6 on it or something like that. So, but because again, how many buttons do you have to push to find out what MIDI channel it is? Lots. So that's a bit of a downside, but they're minor quibbles. The thing sounds great when you're actually playing it. So, Future World Machines just said, do you ever use the trig input on the SH01A? No, I haven't. I haven't yet. However, the plans are afoot because, everything's sort of migrating from over here to over this side. Because, no, I haven't yet. But I think it's one thing that's worth trying. Again, that's a Gerald Simpson trick, isn't it? A guy called Gerald. He talked a lot about that when he did his Synthfest talk about sending a trigger out from his little drum machines and then triggering the sequences. That's how he did Voodoo Ray way back then. Way back.
Did he?
Well,
yeah, basically.
But I've got the Mini Moog. I thought we could compare. So,
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Right. Go on to
Chewy's Mini. I've set up a patch basically, which is exactly what's on Chewy's Mini Moog, and then I've just set exactly the same thing up on mine. It sounds totally different.
Let's go to Dean. Sorry, I'm not actually anywhere near my camera controls. Yep.
No, just do a bit of a sweep. Hey, Dean's looking good still.
All right, I'm ready now. Go for it. Sorry.
Right, okay. I don't know if everyone can hear this. Can you hear that?
No.
Ah, right, there's a problem. Go back to you then, man.
And for that humongous disappointment, no.
I mean, we go wrong when I'm in the game.
I can hear the arpeggiator. Yeah, I can hear that.
That's not me.
Who is that? Is that Darren? Darren, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry, that's my 101, yeah.
All right, go for it. Hit it. It's got the ARP going. See if I can get mine doing the same thing.
What's up with your SH101, Darren?
It squeals extensively.
Thanks, Steve.
Not like it's not like it not like it does on mine. I think it needs looking at.
This is mine now. This is all the Behringer. Let's go back to it. See if we can get this thing to squeal. Get out of the way of the camera. There you go. There we go. I actually really am quite impressed with the MS-101, if I'm being honest. I think that one is actually pretty accurate. Darren, you heard yours, you heard the Behringers. I mean, it's internet, YouTube. I mean, let's not pick hairs, but they definitely sound similar. I think your Sawtooth sounds a bit more. What would I say? It's got a bit of edge to it. Bit of a. Like if you were to cut yourself with the Behringer Sawtooth, you'd have a blunt wound. If you were to cut yourself with the Roland one, you'd have a gaping wound. It's a bit of an edge to it.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's not my Roland SH-101. That's a soft synth.
Right. So that might be what it is. It might be a digital sort of thing to it. That might be the digital sort of
that's
roughness. Yeah.
That's the tell baseline, you know, the copy of the 101.
I was going to say, because I thought you said to me that was the SH-101 before, but yeah, because that Sawtooth sounds nothing like it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's just go back to the MS-101. I mean, obviously I don't have an SH-101, but let's look. Where are we? Noise off. Sawtooth only. Let's take the envelope out of it. Yeah, to me it's got a bit more of a roundness compared to that digital one. Yeah, I definitely think the SH-01A is pretty close to the original Roland. So I mean, in terms of boutique, which ones have got it right, which ones have got it wrong. We haven't tried the VPO3, which I think we'll have to do another time because there's just not enough space for me to have all that set up. If you guys want me to do the VPO3 against the Behringer VC340, let me know. But I actually think the Roland one's pretty good in terms of boutique. I think we should sort of give them a thumbs up for that. In the mix, I don't think you'd ever notice. It is so subtle, the difference. If you're after that tuning problem, then you go for the analog gear. When I say tuning problem, I mean like
that's what it's all about, isn't it? When you're actually, if you're writing tracks, we've said it many a time. If you're writing tracks, do we really actually want to care how exact or not it is? It's all about what's fitting in your track, not whether it sounds exactly like a 303 or a 101 or a Jupiter 8 for that matter, as long as it sounds great for what you're doing at the end of the day. That's why a lot of people switch to going in the box. A lot of people don't like it. It depends on whether like to, well, if you're jamming and playing live, that's a different matter. But you can see why you can sit on a train with a laptop and create great, almost acid sounds that sound identical in a track. You'd never know.
Now that's sound that I had before going on my SH01A, which was actually making me panic. I want that back now. It was incredible. Gonna have to sample the stream. No, I know how to do it. I was actually, Andy, I was talking to you during the week, and because you were out and about in Scotland, you probably didn't get my message. But I've
been checking Facebook.
So during the week, I got a new module in.
Noticed.
I haven't even opened it yet. So I've got this.
Yeah. You. Oh, I see. That's not. Oh, you've got the 960. It's finally arrived. You did say that you were going to get it. Yeah. Yeah.
But I also got this with it.
That's great fun. Yeah. That's sensible. I haven't got that yet.
That one. Which means that you can.
Kent will be running to hide. Turn it into 24 steps. Yeah. Yeah,
and also you can use those 3 different rows in different sort of combinations. So that's the first. I haven't even opened them yet. I'll probably do that on a mailbag. The other one that I got in, which I haven't even opened yet. Well, actually, I have opened it. Sorry, I do apologise. I have opened it. Is this? And you're probably thinking that's just a white box. What the hell are you showing me?
That's just a white box.
Yeah. Well, actually, it isn't. It's a Dopefer box. And inside it is a whole bunch of plastic. Isn't that awesome? No, inside it is a A199 module, which is the spring reverb module. Now, why am I getting that?
Wicked.
Why I'm getting that? Yeah, to go boing boing. Why I'm getting that is because, dear people, when you look at these things here, right? You can get the grey meanie and the blue whatever, and they come with a spring reverb.
Proper springs in it.
Which is pretty awesome, I have to say. Now, how do I get this thing open? But what I thought I'd do is, instead of getting like another one, why don't I just...
Yeah.
Why don't we just have a proper one? Now, what's the difference between this one and the one that Behringer have? Well, if you use this one in a Eurorack format, the actual module itself has more control. It has a hell of a lot more control, actually. These are the controls. Focus. So you don't get those level of controls of your spring reverb on the Behringer. So that, and also I can use that for other Eurorack stuff. So for me, the price difference between the blue and the grey meanie and just adding a Dopefer module and getting the black Behringer 2600.
Can you just show us again how deep that module actually is? Because
that's a hint for you, by the way, if you're wondering. Because once you put a 2600 through the spring reverb, you get some of that brilliance. Is that what you want to say?
Yeah, that's really quite deep, isn't it? So, will you be able to?
That's not that deep. It'll go in there.
Have interest.
I mean, I'll just shove it in. Bit of Vaseline on there. She'll go in. That's what Darren was thinking, anyway. He just sent me a message. No. Is Andy okay? Andy's lost his audio.
Sorry, I just managed to hit the mute button just before I went into a mad sneezing fit. Just as you were talking about Vaseline and squeezing it in, it was a good point for me not to be able to hear properly.
Oh. Everybody hates my jokes, don't they? Right. Yeah. So anyway, the whole purpose of the spring reverb is to get the authentic 2600 reverb sound, but also I can use the spring reverb in other things, and I don't have to have it sitting in there. And you never know, you might actually like the digital reverb one day that's in this. I don't think so. But anyway, Darren, you probably agree with me, don't you? The reverb in that's pretty crap, isn't it? Yeah. He's muted, but he said no. We can read his lips.
Yeah, I usually run it through the Strymon.
Yeah, you're the same as me. All right. Did we achieve what we wanted to achieve? I think we did, didn't we? We're trying to sort of find out what's the difference between analog and digital? How does it sound? How much different does it sound? And I think we all knew it was going to be not much, and we all knew it's really just a matter of taste, really, isn't it? So, but some people might find.
Just wanted to.
No, you go. Yep. Who wants to go first?
Sorry, I was just going to come back. I just quickly come back on what we was just talking about on the 2600. It's like I get what you mean with the spring reverb, because I run mine now through the space echo, and having that external unit is so useful. You know, with loads of different equipment. So I'm totally with you on that one. So sorry about that.
No, that's all right. Absolutely. I tend to sort of talk and then go quickly on to the next topic. So that back to what we were saying about digital versus analog. I mean, we've shown a couple of differences between a couple of different products. So someone who's never ever bought that will hear it and they'll go, right, I think the RD8 sounds clearer than the TR8, or I think the other vice versa. I actually personally think, if you really wanted to get down to the nitty-gritty, I think the workflow and performance features of the Roland TR8 are better than the RD8, but I think the sound in the RD8 is better than the Roland TR8. I think it's clearer. I think the TR8 has a bit of a muffle sort of sound to it. It's kind of like it's...
Totally agree.
It's not quite there with the crispness. Got to have your crispy bits, you know, like getting a nice packet of crisps out and hear that snap. But yeah, no, it's definitely different. And I think we've established the 303 still isn't quite there with the Canary, you know. So if you're looking for Canaries, go and see Dean. He's got plenty in his studio there. No, but I definitely think that there's, I think the Roland Digital 303 filter probably emulates a real 303 closer, but I think the TD3 has more dynamics in its sound than the digital one. So for me, it's very, very, very subtle differences here. We're talking the, you know, the hairs on a bee's back, not really much, you know.
I wouldn't guess. I couldn't guess. I listen to a track like, even I've got them myself. I'd be lying if I did.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep. And for those interested too, at the end we did the SH01A through a bit of fumbling, and the batteries are still here, by the way, Andy. Don't worry. And we did the MS101, and yeah, and you know, we heard an SH101 as well. So Dean, did you manage to? I don't know if you've got anything set up. Did you manage to do that? You were going to do the Moog. The mini Moog, weren't you?
I was, but unfortunately, I've got something else. But unfortunately, I was trying to get the software synths to run through, and it wasn't coming out, and you wasn't hearing it. I've got the Moog set up, but I've got my SH101 with my Altria beat step, just running a little sequence, so I could play you a little section of that.
Let's do
it's
it.
The original SH101.
We're listening to the SH101, the real vintage one. Yeah, I mean, Dean, I kind of feel that, I think Behringer nailed it with the MS101. I mean, they've got the same chips and everything, so I think they nailed it. I think that one is definitely very, very similar. I think Roland nailed it with the digital version of the Boutique, the SH01A. I think those ones we can probably say we're safe. I think the 303 is not quite there. I think the TR8...
There's more on the Behringer.
Yeah.
There's a bit more on the Behringer one, yeah.
Yeah. I think that the TR8 is... I like the RD8. I'm actually... The one I've got, by the way, is a Mark 1. And I know they've brought out a Mark 2 recently. and I don't really know how much different they sound. Yeah, I'm not really sure why they did that. I know they changed the color of the buttons. That might have been a lawsuit thing. I'm not sure. But yeah, interesting, that one. Dean, I think what we all would love to hear, and I don't know if you can do it, is the Super 6. Yeah.
Oh,
because
yes. Yeah. Play a little bit of that. Yeah, it is lovely. Let's make sure I've got him. I was running away there, see what's going on. Hear that?
Oh, yes.
Turn it up a bit.
It's a $4,000 Australian synth here.
Let's put the old arpeggio on hold.
And Dean got his for £2,200. It's a lot of money.
You a couple of other sounds off it. So. Something else. What's that? Decent there. Trying to find my way around this thing. Just had that one. And that one.
So Dean,
yeah,
this is an interesting synth because they call it a Super 6, but it's actually a 12-voice hybrid synthesizer, hybrid analog. When they say it's hybrid, it's got FPGA digital oscillators, right? But the filter and everything is analog. So yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of similar to the Novation Peak in that regards, but the sound is completely different. I think because obviously the way that they've programmed the FPGA.
Well, it's the processors that they've used, the speed and they've got in them processors for the actual oscillators are making them so good. Do you know what I mean? And then the binaural side of it is amazing. It's completely amazing. I mean, I haven't touched the surface yet of this thing, but everything I play on it and I move a slider, I'm like gone for another 20 minutes, half an hour going, oh, what happened there? You know?
So it's always confused me a little bit about binaural. What do you feel that it means? I mean, they've got their definition on their website, which I can read, but what do you feel it means?
It's just for me. It's just having that stereo kind of feel that they're bringing across. I really don't understand what it's all about, to be honest. But you know, it's just something new to me, the binaural side of it. But all I can say is the sound of it, how it's moving everything around, and yeah. I mean, like it's got the the phase on it. That's really really cool. And like, getting the super saw and how they're using the 6 voices and they're all ghosting each other and
so the phasing is the key. The key is that you're phasing the left and the right ear, and then detuning the oscillators based on that. So and it's kind of similar to what Moog have done with what was the Moog one that was stereo? Was it the Matriarch or was it the Grandmother? I forget which one it was. I think it might have been the Matriarch. But this kind of going from conventional mono signals to that stereo sort of out. I like it. I think it's a really, really good way to go because we've got 2 ears. Humans have got 2 ears. Most of us do anyway. Sorry, Vincent, you don't. But I think it's good.
With the filters as well, you can have them like filtering either side, and they're both doing separate things, and it's kind of that's why I got it for that reason. Because it's the one thing I haven't got anything like that in here, and that's probably was my selling point for it, as well as it can reproduce.
Well,
like good old classic sounds.
The whole left and the whole right are complete synths. So you can have VCA, filter, oscillator, and also effects as well, all on each different. Each ear can have completely different sets. So, I mean, that part of it is also quite unique. I don't really know many synths, or if any synths, that do that aren't, purely digital, of course. There might be a digital one that does it. What do you guys think? Andy, are you a bit of a fan of the Udo?
I think it sounds gorgeous. Yeah, I had a play on it. I mean, it would be 2 years ago now, or nearly 2 years ago at Synth Fest, and I thought it sounded wonderful then. And as a layout of a synth, it's really simple and logical. I really enjoyed having a play on it. Again, like Dean, I'm not entirely sure quite what the binaural thing is, and the description of it sounds a little bit to me like the technique that used to be used on those old oral enhancer boxes, like the Vitalizer and the those are the ones where they would. It's feedback, isn't it? You feed one channel back on the other and invert the phase and also, and it makes the stereo widen. But I don't know enough about it to be able to comment.
Yeah.
I just know that the thing sounds great.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
And nicely demoed, Dean.
Darren, the Super 6 is heading towards that traditional Roland sort of sound, the way they've programmed those oscillators. Do you hear it in that, or do you sort of hear something different?
Yeah, well, Dean was saying that he always wanted a Jupiter 6, and I'm the same. I always wanted the Jupiter 6, but go with the Juno 6. And he said, as he was saying, it's got that sort of vibe to it, but obviously it can do a lot more than the Jupiter 6, and obviously you're not going to end up having repair bills on it. So yeah, I sort of see that, and I sort of get why Dean has gone that route. That's if you ever seen the Jupiter 6 for sale. But yeah, I like the sound of it, and I like to say the binaural thing, as Andy said, it's like I did a track once with that type of thing. I quite like I like that idea, moving the synth in a slightly different, expanding what you can do with a synth rather than just having good stereo outputs. And now you've got like this binaural effects coming into it and morphing effects in the synth. So yeah, I like the sound of it, and yeah. Dean, I see why you've gone other than the Jupiter 6. I mean, obviously, like the expense for a Jupiter 6 if it goes wrong, yeah.
I had to give in the end because I really desperately wanted it. It was like the last piece of the jigsaw in here for all the collecting items I got, but it made sense. It absolutely made sense in the end for me. I've got a patch here, which is just I played this, just beautiful. I mean, and then you kind of add all the rest of it in, like you've got the crossfade. So many sweet spots. This thing, it's unreal.
Have you tried to push that, Dean, with the oscillators? Have you tried to push them right up to the top octaves and see if it has any artifacts up there, or right down low?
Right, let's do that right now.
Watch your ears, everyone.
Okay, that patch back. Let's go right over the top here. Let's take this off.
I can't hear any artifacts in there. Robbie, who's filed Muso in the chat, saying that he feels that the term binaural was being misused. So yeah, might be a bit of a automatic gainsay or Mark Doty type thing coming up on that one. Instead of going polyphonic and paraphonic, we're now going to be going into the binaural terminology.
Yeah, whether it's true binaural as in the term of binaural, yeah. Are they just using it as a sort of selling
marketing?
Sort of, I think someone said Dolby Atmos type sounding.
Yeah, Daniela said it. Yeah. Like it's definitely a marketing term. I agree with Robbie in principle there. But yeah, I think I should also give a plug, because we're talking about digital versus analog. If you actually do want to get yourself, a Jupiter sounding synth, the System 8 really does an excellent job of the Jupiter. It really, really does. It's look, I'm not going to say it's perfect and it's exact, and you won't get that sort of reminiscence having that physical beast in front of you. But hey, you can get aluminium sides for it, if that helps, like mine's got, and it kind of helps in a certain way. But yeah, it's a beautiful sounding synth. So System 8 is, I've got a friend who's got one recently, and he's also got himself a JDXA as well, and he's going nuts over the two right now. Interesting enough, if you actually put a JDXA on a rack and you put the System 8 above it or below it, the power cords are on the opposite side. So Roland's factory's inconsistencies, they're kind of similar age. I think one's newer than the other, but not much. It's, a few years apart. Interesting, wasn't it? But yeah, as I was saying, System 8, really, really good Jupiter sound. And I mean, you've got you're not shy from having digital stuff there. You've got Yamaha stuff as well. And that thing that we just listened to, the Super 6, has got FPGAs in it. So it's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
The only thing it's missing, as Chris said correctly in chat, the only thing it's missing is aftertouch. But it does respond to aftertouch via MIDI, so it's not a deal breaker. It's only a 61 key keyboard on it anyway, so I think it does velocity and all that sort of stuff as well. So yeah, yeah. How did we go? Let us know in chat, guys, if you're happy with how we progressed. If we'd left anything out that you're kind of disappointed in, what did we not do? I definitely mentioned before that we couldn't get to the VP3. It's just impossible physically. But we'll definitely do that in another show or video or whatever. Those two sound completely different. So that one will be a very interesting project. There's a lot of things that Roland didn't do right on that boutique. But yeah, let us know in chat. Let's have a quick look at the opinions coming in. It was awesome having Dean on the show. Oh, that was loud. That's all right.
I like Kent saying that even a Jupiter 6 doesn't sound like a Jupiter. That's very funny.
I like the Jupiter 6. I have to admit, it's probably my favourite Jupiter. There's something about it I like. I also like the Jupiter 4 as well, which sounds completely different to a Jupiter 6. Yeah, I mean, you could pretty much throw any Roland synth at me. I'd like it. I like them all. Yeah.
Sorry, just I was going to say, is with the Super 6, it does respond to aftertouch, but it's not polyphonic aftertouch. That's what it is.
Which is a little disappointing, but there's not many synths that have got polyphonic aftertouch, to be honest.
No.
Yeah.
But over MIDI, you can. With polyphonic keyboard, obviously, aftertouch.
Yeah, we'll go, yes. VP03 Boutique versus VC340 Behringer. Yep, that's what I intend to do. I just ran out of room. The VC340 is a massive, it's not massive, but it's a big, heavy, behemoth, wood and metal thing. And, I mean, the VC03 would fit anywhere, but I wanted to have them connect together. So we'll do that. We'll do that in future. Yeah. And I think a lot of people were very keen to hear the Super 6 more. I think that's a really, really cool synth. Lots of people talking about it. Yeah, I was going to... Future World Machine says, thanks for not using an oscilloscope. I was going to, though. I was actually going to have Ableton up and the little Java plugin I had in it and put the oscilloscope up. But I thought it's just too much work for me. And then I thought to myself, no, let's just use our ears. I think we're big enough and ugly enough to use our ears. What do you reckon, Andy?
Well, I think we have to. There's not much else we used to hear by these days, is there? So using our ears is a good thing. Yeah. Sorry, so it's going to great depth about
headphones.
Oh no, I just meant anything. Yeah, we got. Well, I think it's already been said. I mean, Darren's mentioned it. In a track, can you tell the difference? Probably not. Dean said it. The point is, I think all the time is you're making a decision on bits of equipment based on, how much money you've got available to you, what is actually available in the shops at a given time. Do you sit there waiting to buy something that's not available yet simply because you think it might be better than what is currently? Or you could just go round and round in circles. So ultimately you say, well, I bought that, and then a few months later, Behringer released the MS-101, and I'm suddenly thinking, Oh, wow, I wish I'd waited. No, but
Yeah.
actually, no, I don't wish I'd waited. I don't wish I'd waited at all because I'd made my decision and I bought it.
Yeah.
I'm
And it sounds
waiting
great
for
to my
the
ears. And
Jupiter 8.
Might make me ears. I think we all
Behringer.
are now, aren't we? Yeah. I mean, I said last week about that, didn't I? I said that you know, the Behringer profit leaves me a little uncomfortable because Dave Smith is making profits, but Roland are not making Jupiter 8s. They're not. So
Yeah.
they've been asked and they've been asked and they've been asked for a long time and they've not done it. So Behringer have said, right, we'll do it. Okay, good. I feel less worried about that one than I do about, say, the profit.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what comes out.
I'm kind of different to you, Andy, and that's cool. I mean, I don't have we have differences of opinion all the time. I'm more the sort of person that if I like something, I don't really care about the ethics that are floating around in the community. If I like something, I'll like it just because I like it. It's pure and simple and pretty basic. So for me, I do have Behringer products here. I definitely have Behringer products here that people have raged on the internet about. And
me too.
And I'm actually really, really thankful that they actually made them. Like, there's one there that if Behringer didn't make that, I would never have
decision based on it, and nobody can make that decision for you. It's what you yourself are comfortable with.
The other one too.
I'm going to buy
you go, Dean. Yep.
Sorry. Say I'm just going to buy more because I'm a purist, you know. I'm not a museotician.
A museotician.
Those are Behringer gear. Bring it on. Big banners at the background. Behringer.
Yeah. I think they did an extremely brilliant job with the System 100 modules. The school's out for the moment on the 2500. I don't really know enough about those, whether they've nailed those or not yet. But the System 100 modules are actually really, really good. And I'd love to get Alex on the show and we can compare notes because he's actually, he's got a real System 100.
He's got a full System 100M, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Very, very nice.
And that, to me, that's one of, if we're listing synths in terms of favourite, that's in my top 5. A Roland System 100 synth has always been in my top 5. So when Behringer released the modules, I thought, gee, that is just a stroke of genius. Because the original ones are really big.
Yeah, me too. Well, I'm with you on that one. Absolutely with you. And the same for the System 55. If I was going to go the System 55 route, but at the end of the day, I've gone down the System 100, and now I've got pretty much the full system. I think there's only 2 modules I haven't got from that. Well, yeah, I've got that one. You've got it. It's a great sequence. It's a great performance sequencer.
Yeah, it's decent size too.
Yeah, exactly. And just the knobs at the bottom, which steps you're playing with and where it goes and the skips, and then setting it to trigger from the Beat Step Pro. So you can set the beats as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but then you can move the trigger points around. You can bring different rhythms in with it.
Yeah,
that's been great fun. That's been a lot of fun. And like you said, you've got the 3 rows. You can send it to 3 different places. You've also got the switch, so you can switch it up differently. Yeah. Oh, I think it's great fun. Yeah, it's really good.
So
really, really good.
So but in the end of the day, this is kind of where I sit with it. We can be higher or mighty about our ethics and things like that. And I probably do get pissed off when people like cross the line. And there's been cases of that in the past. But when like you say, Andy, when no one's actually like making an effort to make this stuff anymore, when companies don't even exist,
well, Moog aren't making it, and synthesizers.com, they're making a version of it. Nobody's whinged and moaned about the fact that synthesizers.com are making a clone of this Moog stuff, and their prices are high because they're 5U, they're big modules, and they're great things. They're really beautiful. They really are.
No one whinges and moans about the software either.
And it works a treat.
My point is, what about all the software companies that have copied everything already?
You got it. That's exactly what I was saying. Yeah.
So it's just so it's just the ego, isn't it? That's what it is.
Anyway, we're going to get to the milk point, I think, of the show. And I'm going to attribute this one to Mac because he shares my opinion. And it's not necessarily because he said it. It's reminded me. We just share the same opinion. And I think when you're talking about where digital and analog come together and they do a really, really good job, of merging some old stuff with new. This is probably the epitome of that. So Studio Electronics have done amazing work on this. It's there's a few things wrong with it, like the form factor has got tiny little knobs and people don't like that. That's fine. But it's analog synth and it's got digital control. You've got patch storage on it. It sounds like a mini Moog, and you can get little sort of boxes to, you know, add on to the side.
You can get 2 of them. You could have another one of those boxes.
You can get a free one accidentally. To me, that's probably Roland's best work in recent history, I think. And it wasn't really them that did it. It was just them that added the digital side to it, and Studio Electronics adding the analog side. So, you know, if you look at maybe companies need to start looking at sort of grouping together with other companies to sort of enhance their what they can produce as a team. That's not a bad idea. I mean, Roland weren't scared to do it. They did it with
haven't they?
Yeah, Dreadbox did it with Poly End. Is it Poly End? Yeah, what are they called?
Yeah, Roland did it again with Maleko for the System 500 model.
Yeah, Poly End did it, didn't they? Yeah, Dreadbox. Roland did it with Maleko. Yep. You got it. There's a few examples out there of that. And as Dean rightly said, no one's bashing the software clones of these synths. You know, no one's throwing their synths at the screen for those. So, you know.
And also, they go on about Behringer being so cheap. How cheap the software sibs?
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. How cheap are they? Exactly. Yeah. It's a really, really good point.
Free.
And we had some good comments in the chat. Max said that it's been a long, long time since Roland had released the Boutique. That is true. It's been a long time since they released the JDXi and the JDXA as well. So they still make the System 500 modules. You can order them from the factory. I don't know if they still make the JDXi and the JDXA. Someone will be able to tell me if that's been discontinued.
I think the JDXi is still available. The little one is still available.
Yeah. Yeah. The JDXi was a good idea. That was definitely a good idea. They need to do more of that sort of stuff, that innovative stuff. And I think Behringer are in the same boat too. They need to do some more innovation. What I would like, and we talk about this just about every show, what I would like Behringer to do, they've got skin in the game now. They know how to build an RD9 and RD8. They've got that 80s drum machine. They know how they work. They're about to build a Lin drum, all that sort of stuff. So let's see something that hasn't been invented, you know. Let's see that come out from them. Like what they did with the Neutron, like what they did with the DeepMind 12. It can have a bit of a nod to something, you know, in the past. The DeepMind 12 was a nod to the Juno, but they changed it, and I thought that was good. So I kind of feel that, like, that's why I showed the SEO too, because I kind of feel that's where synth manufacturers should go. And Dean showed a really good example of that with the Super 6. There you go. What they can do if they try.
Yeah, it's really...
There's some news coming into my channel. So I've just been given a shipment notification yesterday that I am finally getting the S2400 from Isla Instruments.
Woohoo!
So it should be here next week. So hopefully, if you guys keep your fingers crossed, I'll be able to show it on the stream next week if it all goes well. If not, I might start unpacking some of the stuff I just showed you before and get that up and running and showing you that. And I believe...
Also,
yeah, go ahead.
So I just quickly jump in there. I just got the RD9 coming in a couple of weeks. That's due at the end of this month as well. So
right, that's good news.
Andrew, sorry.
I'm going to wait for the
RD9s
to go down in price before I get one, like I did with the RD8. Go, Andy.
I just wanted to... You mentioned that you got a module that you hadn't mentioned. At least I don't remember you mentioning it. I don't remember you mentioning that you'd actually got a brains.
I do. Yes.
Which I spotted in your rack.
Mm-hmm.
You'd never... I don't think you'd mentioned that to us before. That one sort of snuck in and it's just appeared. Have I just...
I completely just forgot about it.
Yeah,
it's there. Yeah, it is there. Let me...
He gets that much equipment, he just doesn't even remember.
Yeah, you do. No, got this. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Changes this since we changed our pants.
It's well, for me, that's not very often. No,
Remember, he's got another studio at the back.
We don't wanna...
This he just brings bits in to show us.
There's
on the camera.
brains.
This is his camera studio.
There's the brains. They're on the second to right top row. I probably can't really zoom much more than that. I don't know if I can.
Yeah, no.
Is that a Behringer Go case, Rance?
It is, yeah. It's a bit dusty on top there.
Yeah, I like that.
There you go. I can zoom quite a lot on this camera. This is bloody good. Look at that. There you go. There's a nice close-up of the brains, and I didn't even have to move out of my seat.
Marvellous.
Look at that. I just sat here and moved the camera. Yeah, it's new. I've only had it for a day or so, 2 days, 3 days, whatever it is. It's a plates through and through. If you're wondering what it is, don't forget those mutable instruments things are open source, so anyone can make them. What I do like about it is it's got the oscilloscope on the, like what the Korg did with the mini log. I do like that. It's pretty much exactly the same as the plates. They've added a couple of extra algorithms on. I think there's 4 algorithms on the back, and I don't know if there's any dramas with it yet, because there might be a firmware upgrade that I need to do on it. So I haven't checked into that, but it works. It does everything that's supposed to do so far. But like I said, it's early days. What I have been doing with it though is you can see the Planner 2 next to it, which is the 4-point joystick, and you'll notice on the brains it's actually got 4 modulation knobs. You've got timbre, harmonics, morph, and you can use the frequency if you want, but I use the 4th to muck around with filters. So that was actually quite interesting to use a joystick to sort of play around with the brains. It was different than just touching the knobs, which I thought was kind of a cool thing to do. So yeah, videos coming for the brains coming soon. I think they are shipping. So the guys were telling me in the UK that Thomann are shipping those. So if you guys want to get one, I think they're shipping already. So yeah, where were we going with it? We were going with something else before he put me off track.
Sorry.
Does the brains have... Don't ask me technical questions about the brains yet. I've had it for like 5 seconds. I absolutely don't know what it's got. Like I said, I haven't even plugged it into... You'll notice on there's a USB Type B connection on the top left. You've got to connect that up to your computer and check it to see it's uploaded the latest firmware and everything. Yes, shut up, Andy. Big hello to Adamski, who's jumped in. So where were we going? Yeah, I was going to go with next week, we should have Synth Addict on the show, and we're going to be talking about Andy, his name is. He's from the US. You guys know him in the chat. We're going to be talking about funky MIDI controllers. So he's got some that he wants to show us. And we are also going to have Andrew Mee on the show as well. So you guys might remember Andrew's the MIDI guy. So it'll be good to have him. He's got some as well that he wants to share with us. So I'm just going to be sitting back and firing questions at those guys, and they can talk to their heart's content and show us stuff. The good thing about this is Andy has been investing in some camera gear. He's been talking about it actively on the forums, on Facebook and things like that. So I'm pretty excited to see. He's probably really keen to get his cameras up and running and show stuff. So he does have a YouTube channel, so we'll be sharing that. So that's next week if all goes well. And obviously then if we get the S2400 in, we can have a little sneak peek at that. But yeah, there's quite a lot happening. I do need to punch some videos out, that's for sure. I've got some stuff to show. So hopefully if my kids and my wife lets me out of the routine of everything else that I've got in my life, I can squeeze a couple of videos out, that'll be good. But yeah, some exciting stuff happening now. I think we should probably wrap the show up. It's just hit 22 hours and 20 minutes, so I think we've done it to death.
22 hours and 20 minutes.
2 hours and 20 minutes, I should have said. Yeah. Darren, you just went in the time zone. Don't worry about that. Don't forget Darren's track tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Do not forget, I don't know, something to do with Dean has got his Facebook group called Fat Potato. Geez, that was my memory then, doing that. Fat Potatoes, is that right, Dean?
Yep, Fat Potato, that's it.
Yep. So do check Dean out. I'll link to all the channels that you guys have. Andy's got his YouTube channel as well. Andy, we've got to do ourselves a little jam or something together. I don't know how we're going to do it, but maybe I could.
Why not?
Maybe I could do some 960 sequencing and send you some stems or something, and you can muck around with it, or vice versa.
All right. Well, at the moment, I'm going to say I've got my gig to get ready for. That's what I'm doing at the moment, and playing.
We'll do it after that.
Sorted out. Obviously, I've had a week away from it. This week I haven't been on holiday, so I'm definitely going to be practicing. That's essentially what I'm doing. There's the sort of bits of music are more or less done. But I'm just going to work it out, and I'm still trying to solve little technical problems. You don't think there wouldn't be many in a small setup. That was the whole point of this. It would be easy, but there seem to be some. But I'll get there. So that's what I'm doing. But yeah, I'm definitely up for doing some kind of a collaboration like that.
Yeah,
based
I
on
reckon
the
it'd be fun.
960. That's interesting.
Yeah, muck around with 960.
Yeah.
The two 960s. Be fun anyway. That's just an idea, and what's going to happen here is this is all going to get all packed up again. That was only just put there today, and I've got to put my Akai Force back here. That I actually had that there for the whole week, and I was putting that. It had disappeared for a while. You guys would have noticed. I would have had something else here. I think it was the Peak was here. So the Akai Force has gone back there, and the other thing that's happening is my modular case is ready for the saw. Basically, it's almost at that stage where I'm going to be putting it together. So there's videos that I've got to be doing on that as well. So yeah, I'm a busy little bugger right now.
That's cool. Looking forward to that.
Yep. Anyway, we are going to end the show. So,
right. See you, everyone.
Someone said the audio is cutting out. Have I lost audio? No, I haven't.
No, it's fine for me.
Beautiful. All right, we're going to end the show anyway. Thank you, everyone. See you next week. Thanks for joining us.
Yep.
Catch you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.